All right, guys. So there was some explosive audio that came out on today, Independence Day, regarding ESPN and the victimhood Olympics that's going on within their corporate offices. And none of us should be surprised, guys. I'm not surprised because when I was in corporate America, man, and I had to go through all the diversity and inclusion training and all that stuff, all it did was it just caused more trouble than what it was worth, man. Like, a lot of people did not like it. They went along with it, okay, out and open, out in front of everybody, but behind closed doors, people just didn't like it, right? They weren't with it. They weren't about it, okay? But again, when you go woke, what happens is that the woke eats themselves, and we have a woke female, I guess, reporter, whatever you want to call it, Rachel Nichols, right, who's close to LeBron James, who has a history of pushing, diversity and inclusion for women, okay? Diversity and inclusion for women, right? But when it comes to diversity and inclusion for black women at the expense of her, all of a sudden, she has an issue as the leaked audio shows Rachel Nichols complaining about Maria Taylor getting a job, which the job was to host the N.B.A. finals, right, over her. And she thinks that she got this job because she was black and because ESPN was trying to make up for their poor track record of racial diversity, okay? And keep in mind, this happened last year before the NBA finals, right? When the NBA was ultra woke with Black Lives Matter on the court, right, and kneeling and George Floyd and all that stuff. This is when this was going on, so that you guys have proper context here as to why Maria Taylor may have been put in that position during that time period, and why Rachel Nichols might have had an issue with that. When this thing leaked, right, all the woke employees at ESPN got upset because they said this is proof that our so-called white allies, all they do is talk trash behind our backs, right? About employees of color. They just talk trash. So without further ado, let's actually play the leak audio clip of Rachel Nichols complaining and go from there. Take a look.
They said to me, hey, instead of hosting the NBA finals, why don't you do Doris's silent reporter job for the NBA finals? Because guess what that would clear the way for? For Maria to do the hosting role. Yeah. So, I have declined. I don't know what their next move is, but they are feeling pressure because of all of that. And I'm trying to figure out, like, how to just, my thing is that I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football, she covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about your crappy one-time record on diversity, which, by the way, I myself know personally from the female side of it, go for it. Just find it somewhere else. You're not gonna find it with me.
All right, guys. So as you can imagine, this has caused a ton of backlash at ESPN internally. Okay, and I actually read the article from the New York Times that wrote in detail about this, and it's absolutely crazy, right? There's a lot of drama going on, and essentially what it seems like is that Rachel Nichols, whom in this article was complaining about Trump supporters, okay, the Trump supporting conservative men at the network, whom she feels like gave her the shit end of the stick throughout her career because she was a woman. Now she's complaining about them because they're too woke now, right? They're trying to make up for that, and she feels like it's at her expense, which is really funny because wouldn't that same argument apply to her pushing the whole, oh, we need more female voices, we need more women voices, we need to promote women at the expense of men who might be more qualified? But you never hear Rachel Nichols complain about that. She never has any issues with that. All of a sudden, though, she has an issue with wokeness when the wokes come for her job. When she loses her position, right, to a black woman because they want to put more black faces on air, all of a sudden, this ain't fair. Don't do it at the expense of me, right? But she has no issues with it at the expense of men, right? And this is why I try to tell y'all about the woke revolution. It's going to eat itself because they're just going to go further and further and further left, right? They're going to alienate those who are supposed to be a part of the movement because it is a race to the bottom in terms of victimhood. It's the victimhood Olympics. And that's what's going on at ESPN, right? And like I said, unsurprisingly, again, the black employees there got upset because this audio, this was something that Rachel, she didn't know it was being recorded, right? She was talking to Adam Mendelson, who's an advisor for LeBron James, right? Somebody that she goes to try to secure interviews from, right? A network, right? So it was a private conversation that she was having that she did not know was going to be put out to the world, right? And again, these woke employees at ESPN, the ones that are black, right? Again, obviously they got mad because they saw this as proof. This is proof that our white allies are not really with us, right? They complain about us getting promoted over them. And like I said, guys, I'm just not surprised to hear this at all, to see this at all. And this is why, Max Kellerman, aka Marks Kellerman, for as woke as he acts, I actually do respect the fact that when he has this conversation about white privilege, he always comes out and says, I'm not giving up my privilege, right? And I respect the fact that he says that. And the reason why is because the people that want to acknowledge white privilege, right, that want to say it's real and that white people somehow privileged in society, those same people who are white will not give up their positions of power, which is, honestly, if you believe that, then you should, right? But we all know that that's not the case. It's all woke virtue signaling. They don't really believe it, because if you believed it, you would give up your position. Max Kellerman comes out and says, no, I'm not giving up my privilege, right? I'm going to keep my privilege. And I just respect the honesty. I just do, right? Rachel Nichols, on the other hand, she'll go out and she'll act woke and she'll be woke, talk about Black Lives Matter and Me Too and all that. By the way, they were complaining about that too behind closed doors. Even people like Rachel Nichols were getting worn out with Black Lives Matter and Me Too and all the woke virtue signaling from ESPN that happened last year. They was all getting worn out by it, right? But she'll go out there and put on a show and act like she's all aboard for it. But behind closed doors, she's not. Put it this way, at the very least, not at her expense. Not at her expense. And this is why a lot of people complain about the whole diversity and inclusion, the woke movement, because that's essentially what happens. The end goal is that people have to give up their power in their jobs. That's the problem. That's why people push back against it. They have to give up their power in their jobs for people who may be less qualified than them, and nobody that works hard, that puts in the work, that, believes in meritocracy is going to go along with that. They're not going to go along with it. But see, if you push back against it, you say this might not be a good idea, affirmative action might not be a great idea. They call you a racist bigot, right? You're a racist bigot. Racist bigot. But Rachel Nichols here, right? And she will be one of those people that will probably say something like that. She probably call you a bigot if you say something about how, you shouldn't be putting women who are not as qualified as men in positions just because they're women. She'd probably be on board with that. But again, once it affects her, when the pendulum swings her way, then she want to throw a fit. So this is funny, but let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.